Hey Hodies, welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today what we're going to be doing is looking back at the purchases I made in September of 2022, 1 year later, to decide whether or not I think that those were good and smart purchases for me. And that is why the title of the video probably has the year 2022 in it. That's not a mistake, I did it on purpose. If you happen to be new to my channel, hi, welcome. My channel is mostly about loving my makeup collection, as it currently is first and foremost. I like to be very discerning about what makeup that I bring into my makeup collection, what I invite in, and then I do like to be critical of new makeup releases. I just don't think that everything that every brand puts out is good enough to warrant our money. But also sometimes things make more sense for me than they make for you. Like, you might purchase something that wouldn't make sense for me and you would get a lot of value out of it. But the whole point of my channel is to build up the practice of just being more discerning. So if that kind of content sounds good to you, I would love to have you subscribe. And if you are also the kind of person who has the means to purchase every single thing that comes out, and that's how you like to explore the beauty space, then that's absolutely great. No judgment here, but just know that that's the focus of my channel. Make sure you like this video and leave a comment. That really helps me if you want to help me out. I also have a Patreon at patreon.com/hautemesstom if you want to take your support one step further. There's no pressure to support me on Patreon. There just is additional content there, and my podcast with my friend Kackie of Kackie Reviews Beauty. So you can check that out if you'd like. Again, there's no pressure. Do what you'd like. I also have a free podcast with my friend Tiffany. You can find that on Spotify, linked down below, called Rec Collect. It's a music podcast, so if you also like music, you might enjoy that. And the vibe there is a lot different than the vibe on my channel. It's a little more loopy and fun and crazy and a lot of laughing. On both of my podcasts, a lot of laughing. And finally, I do have merch, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit differently. So we're going to do this whole week, starting Sunday, going till the end of day of Saturday, a sale. I'm going to do 20% off, and also I'm going to retire some of my designs. So 20% off of everything except for Getting My Body to the People cropped hoodie. I did not mark that up enough on my end for 20% off to pay for it at wholesale cost. That's the only thing that you would have to pay full price for if you wanted it, but everything else is 20% off. But the one I'm wearing right now, I don't wear pink. This is permanent. This one will always be there. I'm going to keep that Getting My Body to the People cropped hoodie up there, and the hat. And those might be the only 3 designs I'm keeping. I'm currently working on new designs, but if you wanted any of the old designs or any design except for Getting My Body to the People cropped hoodie at a little bit of a discount, that's available to you. There's no pressure to buy my merch. That's an option. It's just I don't want merch that no one's interested in continuing to sit there. As my brand continues to grow here on YouTube, hopefully I will have more and more means to make more interesting merch, and therefore the old merch is going to go. And then if you happen to buy the merch that is going to be gone forever, quote unquote gone forever, if you buy that merch, I'm not going to try to pull any tricks on you. Like, it is actually going to go away forever, but like, it was also very easy for me to hit a button to bring it back into stock if I wanted to. It's print to order, so it's going to take longer for these to get to you if you decide to purchase them, and the shipping is by weight, and there's no like free shipping threshold. This is all done through a company called Fourth Wall. Obviously, I do intend on, like, as my channel continues to grow, to potentially, if I do merch in the future, and when it makes more sense for me to buy stock and ship it out myself, that would be something that we would do, because I would like to eventually pay people for designs and not have to make it myself, and they would probably do better designs. That's like the big plan, right? Because I do want to make merch that people want, and I do think that this really is something that I want to continue to wear. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the big plan for my merch down the line. I can't do that quite yet, but I am working on it. And Lauren, if you are watching this video, I keep meaning to email you and I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry. I'm going to do it though, because I do want to make smaller things that are available that are at less of a cost than what I currently provide. But 20% off using this promo code, which I made and I forgot immediately. Hold on, let me look it up. The promo code is hautemesstom, and that will get you 20% off of, again, everything except for the cropped hoodie. Okay, let's proceed with the video. I was looking back at what I bought, and we're just gonna go in the order in which I bought them. And I knew that this was a more purchasing month than not, because Labor Day sales, and I did buy a lot during the Labor Day sales, but there was also some new interesting launches that I partook in. So the first thing I bought last year in September was the Gucci blush, and I think it's the Blush de Beauté or something like that. And I bought it in the shade Rosy Tan, and there's also another Rosy Beige. It has like 2 names. I bought that shade. I'll have a picture of it up here. I do not have it in my collection anymore. Here's why. I think I was one of few dissenting opinions on this blush. I thought the blush at most was okay. The formula of the blush, remove the packaging from it, remove the name Gucci from it. I just thought it was okay. It did a little bit of blurring, but it never spoke out to me as something that I thought I was going to use a lot, and therefore it doesn't have a value of $51 to me or whatever it costs now. I don't, inflation, but but I paid $51 for it. And I just didn't feel like it was worth it. Another thing that I had issues with is the shade. And I particularly was interested in this blush shade because I thought it was going to be more beige than it was like rosy. I thought it was gonna have a hint of rose, maybe a little bit of a gray undertone, but it turned out to just be like a rosy pink. And I was like, this isn't even that special of a shade. Perhaps if I tried some other shades, I would have liked those other shades more, but I feel like this shade, the way it was presented online and the way it ended up looking on my skin was not the same. And so I just was like, I don't even want this blush because this is not the kind of blush colors I'm into. In the past year, I have come around to like pink blushes a little bit, but I still stand by that the formula wasn't beautiful enough for it to warrant the $51. That being said, the packaging was really cute. I found it a little hard to open, but it wasn't so hard to open where it's like a deal breaker like I feel about the Westman Atelier powder, which I think is incredibly hard to open for no reason. It was just like figuring out the mechanics of it at first was like a little bit like which side is the side that goes up. The packaging felt light. It was really pretty, but I like a weighted packaging, so I feel like it was missing a luxe experience, but also it was really beautiful and it still looked luxurious, whether or not I feel like it felt luxurious. But I think the thing that kind of made me like the most angry, besides the shade not being what I thought it was going to be, was the fact that if you looked at the back of the packaging, there was a hole. So like as if it was a removable pan. So I thought, oh, are they going to sell refills for this? So I pushed it out and there was glue and it started making the thing like the glue was unsticking. I was like, oh, I don't want that. Like, I don't want the glue to come undone. So it was like, why would you put that there? Now, the only reason I could see feasible is if like makeup artists really like that blush formula and they wanted to use them, it makes it slightly easier to depot. But why not just make it magnetic at that point? Because your packaging is really beautiful. It feels like forever packaging. So why not make it refillable instead of just gluing it in this thing that appears to be? Anyway, it just felt like something that wasn't worth $51. I think if I had paid $30 for it, I would feel less angry about it, but ultimately I just feel like it was a letdown for me overall. So the next thing I bought was the Auric Glowlust because they did a Labor Day sale. I think it was 15% off, and my total for this was $40.93. This is something that I absolutely fell in love with right away, head over heels. It's a liquid illuminator, but it's on the thicker side. I have tried the Charlotte Tilbury. It's much thicker than that. I have the shade Morganite, and that's what it looks like blended out. It's interesting because I think of the illuminators that I have tried in this format, it provides a little bit of coverage and a little bit of blur. And even though it is thicker, I don't feel like when it blends out on my skin that it lays thick. I just think it looks really beautiful and like very natural. And I've used it as a primer. I use it as a highlighter. I'll mix it in with my foundation sometimes to like, you know, make a little bit of a more luminous formula. It doesn't stay tacky. It does, you know, set. And so for all of those reasons, it's like a very beautiful formula. Like you can mix it, you can do all these wonderful things with it, which I think liquid illuminators like 6 years ago don't compare to the liquid illuminators now. I even think the Charlotte Tilbury one's good. I just don't think it's better than this. And one thing I like about this one versus something like the Charlotte Tilbury or the e.l.f. Halo Glow is that I like that it's a pump. Even though I could take the doe foot of those and then mix things with it on like a mixing palette, I just think this gives me more options out the gate because it's like, you know, I don't know that I really want to make the doe foot touch things that aren't my face if I'm going to go that route, but I've been obsessed with this ever since. Sometimes I do forget to use it. I'll pull it out to use and then I like for some reason forego it. I think right now what the problem is that I think I have maybe too many primers for my own good. I think ultimately I like using it as a primer, but most of the time my favorite application method is to apply it just here and then prime the rest of my face with something else, like doing a multi-primer situation. And then that way everything that's on my cheeks will have a glow. And then sometimes, even though I like a glow, you know, most of the time I add highlighter on top, then I don't even need highlighter. If I'm using a matte blush or something like that, it just looks really blended. I didn't use it today, actually. I thought about it, but I actually got ready on Instagram today and like had a whole thing. It was like early in the morning too. It was very fun. You can follow me on Instagram at hautemesstom. You don't have to though. It's just, if you're not and you would like to, it's there. I feel like I'm really getting my money's worth out of it. We are approaching a year and I'm like still not halfway done with it, but it doesn't feel like it's turning or anything. I'm still very much enjoying it. Maybe as we head into the fall months, maybe it was one of those situations where like over through the summertime, I was like just more glowy because of sweat and more oil production. And I felt like maybe it was a little bit less necessary. But maybe as my skin gets a little bit more dry in the winter months, I'll be like, it's time for you to shine. Like, look at that. It's on the back of my hand. It looks so natural and just, it's beautiful. Samantha did like a really good job with this product. Like it's so good. Feels luxe in the hand. It's really beautiful. I don't regret it. I think it was a very good purchase for me. And it was a risk purchase at the time because I didn't know that I was going to enjoy this kind of product. It's cool enough to wear my merch, which is like very exciting because it's just been summertime and it's been like chilly in the mornings and that makes me So happy. I love cozy weather. Whenever it gets into winter, I don't really care for it, but like this fall time, it's me. It's me. I know there are summer girlies, and I'm not trying to take summer away from you, and I know we're still technically in summer, but I would like for you to continue enjoying summer. But I also think there's no reason for me to not be able to enjoy my beautiful little mornings, my little morning rituals, like hot coffee. Oh, makes me happy. So the next thing I bought was the shade Omen in the Sinister Satins from Black Moon Cosmetics, and it is a black satin lipstick. It's a very beautiful neutral black, so if you do buff this out, it doesn't turn green or purple. It continues to be black. It's just like a true black, which sometimes whenever it comes to blacks, you end up seeing like a different undertone to it when you blend it out, but this is a true black. I love it. I don't wear black lipstick all of the time. I'm gonna wipe it off my hand before I get it on my sweatshirt. If there's one thing about me is I'm gonna stain a shirt. I really love this formula because it is a satin, and I feel like with it, when it comes to like fully pigmented blacks, a lot of the times the brands choose to go matte. What I like about this is that it does have a little bit of a luster to it. It's not super glossy or anything like that. It just is a cream lipstick, and it looks like a cream lipstick, and I just really appreciate that they didn't choose to go with like a matte. And I do think they have a matte liquid lipstick version of a black. I don't know if it's also called Omen, but I just really like this formula. It's really comfortable. It's not like something that's, you know, bulletproof on the lips. It's something that you're gonna have to reapply, but I'd much rather do that than have to suffer through a matte liquid lipstick. It's just really beautiful, and I really appreciate this packaging. It's definitely like a custom component to them with like beautiful hollow detailing. I think they do a really good job. It's not very weighted. It's something that you could easily throw in a bag and it wouldn't like weigh you down, but it is just beautiful to look at, and I enjoy interacting with it every time. And you know, we're heading into a season where like black lipstick probably will make more of appearances on my channel, but I don't even view black lipstick as something that is specifically Halloween related. I wear it a couple times in the summer. It's like very nice. I love black lipstick. I think it's so cool. Ultimately, I think that was also a really good purchase. I hadn't had a black lipstick in a while, and I knew that I liked it, and I do feel like it was a really good purchase for me. The next thing I bought, Rosy Beige, Rosy Tan from Gucci, was like the first purchase, I think, in a long line of me trying to find this dead gray pink blush, something akin to what Hannah Louise Posen calls old gum. I was also on the hunt for it, but what's different between me and Hannah is the undertones of our skin. So like anything that has warmth in it on Hannah tends to turn orange, and I don't have that problem. Things tend to lean a little more pink on me. I went to try out the Westman Atelier BabyCheeks in Mimi, and this is a warm beige. When you look at it inside the packaging, it looks like it has more gray to it, and when you look at the imagery on Westman Atelier's website, it also looks like it's cool toned, but they just, in the description, they call it warm, and when the way that they put it on the models makes it also look really cool toned and gray. And so I was like, well, I have to try it to figure it out. And it is like, unfortunately, an exclusive to their website, which is smart, because I think this is like one of the shades that I think is like more nuanced and maybe wouldn't do as well in Sephora. So they're like, here's this beautiful special shade and you have to buy it at our website. Whenever I bought it, it didn't turn out to be the like dead gray pink of my dreams, but what it did was spark an enjoyment of beige blushes, and this is really where it started. And so it wasn't the purchase that I thought I was making, but it ended up being a good purchase overall because I really love this shade. I have used it a little bit less because I think the next dead pink blush that I purchased kind of outdid this one in my brain space, and this one's a little bit warmer, but I do think that in the fall months this might also be something that I choose to wear. I have been into more cool toned looks recently. I am someone who likes to have it mostly match, although I have warmth on the cheeks today and then I have cool tones on the eyes. I don't think it really matters. I think it looks good any way you do it. So I would like to make a more of an effort to use it. I had Pop It, and I did get rid of Pop It because I wasn't using it. Was it $51 worth? I don't know that it was $51 worth good, but I think it started making me pay attention to beige blushes in a way that I hadn't before, where I used to think beige blushes were really boring. I now find them to be something that have a lot of nuance to them, and this really proved that to me. And if I hadn't tried this, I haven't gone on my way to try it, I think I would still be on the hunt for that like dead pink look. I think it was a good purchase. I would buy it again. So the next thing I bought was the Dior Quint in New Look. And the reason I bought this was because Amanda Z talked about it in high regard, and she was wearing it in a video, and I was obsessed with her eye look. But what I learned whenever I got it is that the way that Amanda and I apply eyeshadow is very different, and what we're looking to do is very different. She does very light washes of color on her eyes, and I don't even think I like the most bold, impactful eye looks. Like sometimes I do, but you know, I feel like you're all going to disagree with me on that one. But like like, I just don't apply my eyeshadow the way that she does. So when I bought it, I thought my eyes are gonna look exactly like Amanda's. It just didn't work out. And the problem was all of the shades kind of looked, they were all in the same, they were all like this mid-tone. And there was no lightness or depth to it, where like if you tried to use more than 2 shades, it just got incredibly muddy and there was no dimension to it. And while I don't do a lot of work sculpting my eyes, I do some work sculpting my eyes. That's why you normally have more than 1 shade in a palette. It's just like didn't serve its purpose, and I just feel like it all got muddied, and I didn't like love the eyeshadow formula. It had good longevity, like I never had issues with it lasting on my eyes. What Amanda did made it look so ethereal, and that's like a lot of the looks that she does on her channel. I like was not able to achieve the same amount of like etherealness, and I can do an ethereal eye. I could not achieve it with that palette. I don't miss it for 1 second. I'm glad I passed it on. I passed it on to someone who uses it a lot and she really likes it, and that's great. If you want 5 pans of basically one and done eyeshadows, then I think you would really like it. But like for me, as someone who likes to use many shades, it wasn't ideal. Do I regret the purchase? I don't think I do. And I don't know that it was a bad purchase. I think at one point or another, I was gonna try Dior eyeshadows, a Dior Quint, and that was the first one. So what it basically did teach me with me trying it is that Dior Quints are very likely not for me, and Dior eyeshadows are very likely not for me. So basically what it has done is the one time I did it made me learn that like Dior eyeshadow's not for me, and I'm not gonna buy Dior eyeshadows in the future. And I wouldn't know that unless I had tried it. I did learn my lesson. And basically every time Dior has come out with an eyeshadow palette since, I go, I'm not gonna buy that. Maybe if I looked at their singles and really found one that I liked, I would maybe purchase it. But as of now, Dior eyeshadows off the table. That's that. The last thing I bought in September of last year, it must have been towards the end of the month leading into October, because I do cycle out my mascaras every 3 months. And last year, I tried the Tarte Tartelette tubing mascara, which I have in my hands today. So I haven't used it consistently since then, but it is one I've obviously revisited. Here's the thing about this. It really impressed me and I was shocked by it. Now, a lot of tubing mascaras I feel like look pretty natural on the eyelash, but what I like about this one is it provides a little bit of drama, because if I'm wearing mascara, I do want that little bit of drama. I almost am never going for a no makeup look, so there's almost no need for me to have a mascara that doesn't make my lashes look enhanced. I really was surprised by this, but it also doesn't perform like a tubing mascara. I've tried other tubing mascaras where the tubes come off, but this washes off like a regular mascara, and it washes off easily like a tubing mascara. There's never any remnants. I never have like black smearing around my eyes whenever I'm done washing my face. So it does come off like entirely like a tubing mascara, but it doesn't tube. It's so bizarre. I don't really know if it really technically is a tubing mascara at that point, because I don't see the tubes, but I don't know. It is technically a tubing mascara. Mascara and I have like a very sordid relationship. I would buy this in the summertime, but not in the wintertime. I really like the YSL Lash Clash, and I was using that this summer and it was transferring, but this doesn't transfer because it's a tubing mascara onto my eyelids. I think I do like the way the Lash Clash ultimately looks. I did fall in love with the Surratt Releve mascara this summer, so that will probably be my winter mascara, but I could see myself coming back to this in the summer. It's obviously good enough that I purchased it again, so I don't regret the last time I purchased it at all, because it made me fall in love with it. And I only bought it because a friend of mine who still works at Sephora from when I worked there, she recommended it to me, and I really enjoyed it, and she made a really excellent recommendation, and I really appreciate it because I've come back to it. Also, this packaging, while it looks weird, it is actually very luxurious in the hands. It's very nice and weighty. I really enjoy it. That's the end of the video. So last year's September purchases, mostly bangers, a couple of misses. If you are new to my channel and you're not already subscribed, please feel free to subscribe now. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment. Do you remember what you bought last September, or do you keep track of this kind of thing so you can reflect like this? I find that it's very helpful to be like, these purchases, were they good or not? It really helps me figure that out whenever I do these videos. I think they're really worthwhile. Just as a reminder, the merch promo code is hautemesstom. Again, some of those designs are going to be discontinued, so check that out if you're interested in. Grab it, grab a backup if you want to, but there's no pressure to buy my merch. There's a Patreon, no pressure to be on my Patreon, and that's it. So remember to follow your haute, and you will find me. I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye-bye.